You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Welcome back to The Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we're in overdrive. I wanted to give Aaron, Chad, Todd, Luke a chance to call. So we're going to go to those calls right away, try to move through them very quickly. Let's go to Aaron in California. Aaron? Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey.
Hey, go ahead.
I just want to say that if Alex Jones is listening, he's my hero.
I'm sorry? Yeah, let's go to Chad in North Carolina. Chad?
Hey, how's it going? Long-time fan, first-time caller, and I was wondering if there were any follow-ups to the FCC situation going on with their takeover of the internet, which is completely insane, and exactly what the objective of the FTC, the involvement there is.
Well, you know, that's interesting, Chad, because we've had a lot of people, especially in the liberal press, who say, isn't this great? We now have net neutrality. Thank you so much, FCC. It's been a week. We haven't even seen the rules that they passed. And we've got a Congress that is so incredibly passive, they're not doing anything about it. That's one of the reasons why when I looked at this bill to shut down the ATF, my first response, I don't know what the Congress can do to try to get control of these bureaucracies that they created and abdicated their authority to. One of the things they can do is to cut their budget. We saw that as part of the fight to try to control Obama's edict for open borders. Let's say they said, let's control the budget for the Department of Homeland Security. But then, of course, they caved. They couldn't do that. That's about the only thing they can do at this point is to cut their budgets. But, of course, the FCC is now going to assert that they have control over the internet. That's the important thing to understand, Chad. We don't know what they're going to do with net neutrality. And, of course, we've had a functioning internet for decades. It served us just fine. That's an issue that was a couple of years old that was negotiated between the competing companies. They worked that out. It's not a crisis. It's not a problem. The internet is not broken. They merely want to assert control, and they're still not telling us what they're going to do with these regulations a week afterward. That's the takeaway from this, is the arrogance of these regulatory agencies that won't even tell Congress, let alone the public, what they're going to do. And we're still waiting for an answer as to what they're doing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I was watching a documentary the day before yesterday about via the Trading with the Enemies Act, how we are all considered enemies of the state, which is, again, insane. And I think that had something to do with the Federal Reserve taking away private ownership of gold and mass amounts.
Well, the Federal Reserve is definitely at the bottom of this, but we just talked to Barrett Brown yesterday, and in that railroaded case, they confiscated his Declaration of Independence. The FBI said it was proof that he was a radical. They were going to keep it, and there's actually an order that he tweeted out that showed the judge saying, no, I know you were going to keep his Declaration of Independence as part of the plea bargaining, but you need to give it back to him. But you know what? All he got back was a piece of paper. They kept his rights, and they're taking your rights that same way. Thank you, Chad. Let's go on to Todd in California. Todd?
Hello, David. I've got a lot of info, so I'm just going to try to get it out quickly. First of all, I think the overall disinfo operations of the globalists, they see it in two different fronts. There's the public front, where the general public is vastly way too dumbed down to ever, be any use to anyone. And then there's the law enforcement front, where they're trying to keep people in government totally compartmentalized so that they're pretty much ineffective. And so the reason why I think the question has been asked, why are they exponentially going for broke on so many fronts, is because I think they have noticed that as far as law enforcement is concerned, people in government have started to wake up a lot quicker than they predicted. And,
I agree. I agree. And that's why they got to get control of the internet. Absolutely. I want to move real quickly to, thanks, Todd. I want to move real quickly to Luke. I think, are you calling from Vietnam, Luke?
Yes, I'm calling from Vietnam.
Wow.
I actually was listening to you yesterday talking about Barrett Lancaster Brown, who was charged by the FBI with something very similar to me. I've talked about before. I won't talk about my own saga again of obtaining information on a law enforcement officer, but something our cases have in common is that the state has gone after our family members as well in both of our cases.
Yes, like they did with Barrett Brown. I'm sorry. Call in. We'll put you at the head of the line. We've run out of time in overdrive. I'm sorry I didn't see that you were calling from Vietnam earlier. I would have gotten to you sooner. Call us back. We'll put you at the head of the line. Thanks so much. Join us tonight.
Roman Empire, to support the body's days of the Roman Empire, to support the body's natural systems and enhance